Hey everyone, welcome to the Xpertz podcast. I'm your host, Natalie Egenolf. With me this week, this is a really exciting episode. I have Chris Griffin. He is the voice of the Parx Racing Derby and races Monday through Wednesday on Saturday. Now, this is one of my favorite episodes so far because Chris will tell you, we met last summer when I started here at Parx, and I low-key really love horses. Now, not many people know this about me, but I really love horses, and I'm actually really into horse racing. So when Chris and I met, we're talking and we're going over all this stuff, and I'm kind of talking to him and I'm saying, I know I love racing, and I used to come here to the track when I was a little girl. So this for me today is an honor to have Chris here because I want to talk about his story. I want to talk about how he ended up here at Parx Racing. And I also want to talk about he replaced Keith Jones. Now there's 3 Keith Jones here in Philadelphia. There's the news reporter, there's the hockey player, and then there's the 34-year legend of Parx Racing, Keith Jones, who called the races for 34 years here in Philadelphia. So Chris comes in. Happy anniversary. I want to welcome you with a happy anniversary. Welcome to the Xpertz podcast. It's your 1-year anniversary.
Crazy. Right?
Of being at Parx, and here we are together. So thank you so much for joining me. I wanted to give you the best introduction possible. I'm really excited. We've been trying to get this on the books for a while now. But you're a really busy guy because, as I said, Monday through Wednesday, and every other day, you're manning the Parx Racing social and you're calling the races and you're doing all this other stuff. But you're originally so take me back to the beginning. You're originally from LA or Santa Monica?
Santa Monica.
So Santa Monica.
Santa Monica.
Okay. So, and I saw that you got your start at the Humboldt County Fair.
I did. Yeah.
Okay. So we don't need to go back to like childbirth. Sure. Where were you born?
Yeah,
what hospital were you born in? But I want to hear a little bit because it's been a journey for you. You worked with the Harlem Globetrotters. You've had a really fascinating career.
Yeah.
So let's start at the Humboldt County Fair. Sure. Now, what exactly? So you were calling a race there.
So what's going on? First of all, it's an honor to you stop like Philadelphia legend in your own right. But when you talk about starting in racing, I had actually met an announcer named Frank Mirmati, and so I gave him a ring and caught him during my Globetrotter days, and he announces big races. He's at Santa Anita on the West Coast, and he said, I asked him what it would take to call a race, and he said you don't have to call a race. He said, I've heard you do your thing. He's like, I'll get you a job. So he got me a job at Humboldt County Fair. It was a 7-day meet. It was over the course of 2 weeks, and it was in Ferndale, California, where Guy Fieri is from. That's where.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Wait, he's not from Flavortown?
Well, I think now he is, but yeah, and he was from Ferndale.
My life is a lie, Chris.
Ferndale, California. He started at the Humboldt County Fair. But
wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Selling pretzels and the whole thing.
The greats started the Humboldt County Fair.
I think I'm a distant second.
Rome was not built in a day. You're right on track.
So it's what they call a bull ring, which is a half-mile track. And I was going, and I had this job, and the guy that hired me, Larry Swartzlander, he's like, "Okay, you've never called a race before. We saw some weird tape of you doing some Globetrotter games, but Frank Mirmati says you can call horse races, so you're hired." So they just hired me, and they just took a risk.
Wow.
Brought me in, and I started practicing. Like I started watching races on TV and like that, and I'm like, okay, watching the Derby and watching these different races, watching these thoroughbred type events. And then I got there, and the first race that they had me call was a 220-yard mule race, which is a horse and a donkey mate, and they get a mule. And these mules have really floppy ears and things like that, and they sprint. There was a really heavy favorite named Bad News Bubba.
Oh, what a great name.
And so you go in there prepared. And you're like, oh, man, this is the moment. He's the heavy favorite. Clearly, this mule is going to win the race.
Right.
I'm practicing. Blah, 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 blah. I'm thinking ahead.
Clearly, this mule is going to win
the whole thing. Like
things that you thought you'd stay in life.
He'll never not be in front. The gates open, and this mule stands there. He doesn't leave the gate initially. And I'm like, great. Now everything is thrown off. The plan is out the door. And then finally, Bad News Bubba gets going, and mules
how does that go?
They're a little more.
They meander.
They drift a little bit. They kind of they kind of weave throughout the lane. 220 yards doesn't seem that long for a mule. I think it probably seems like miles.
So I ran the 100. I did the 100 when I ran track.
Yeah,
and I was not
meandering.
I was a little bit of a meander. I might have done better with 220, honestly. So wait, so the mules just kind of.
So they don't always run in a straight line.
Right.
So anyway, that enabled Bad News Bubba to catch up to the rest of the field. And then he ends up winning a really close finish. And I actually just went kind of Globetrotter mode. I just threw a lot of excitement and then, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing thing you've ever seen.
Right.
And then right after that, I got a text from my boss and he said that was excellent. So somehow it all worked out.
Wait, so
then after that, then I actually did get to call some horse races.
Okay.
Because the mules was part of the fairs and the whole thing. So anyway, then from a career standpoint, then I got another opportunity after that in Portland. I got another opportunity after that in Florida. And then it just kind of, it goes from there. And then 8 years later, I find myself here in Salem.
So you made your way here to the East Coast, all the way from the Humboldt County Fair.
Got to start somewhere.
It's amazing. So before, like you said, you worked with the Globetrotters. You called Globetrotters games for 6 years.
Yeah, I was the voice of the Globetrotters for I think it was 6 or 7 years. But yeah, I got an opportunity to do that. And it was a fun time.
Yeah. Can you tell me what that was like? I mean, you're watching, and we're going to talk about some teams that you like.
Yeah.
Football and basketball and stuff. But can you tell me what that was like calling games for the Harlem Globetrotters? Because that takes a certain level of expertise because A, you're watching the game, right?
Sure.
So you're observing the game, you're calling the game as it is. But then B, next thing you know, one of these guys is like spinning a ball on their head. And you have to keep, and this is what I love about color analysts and play-by-play people is it's unbelievable.
Right.
The talent, the execution, the attention to detail that you have to have. So can you tell me what that's like when you're calling a basketball game and then all of a sudden it pivots and it's something funny or miraculous, but you have to stay tempered, right? You have to stay focused on the game, where somebody like me, I have the attention span of a pine cone.
Sure.
I'd be like, wow, that was the greatest thing I'd ever seen. And then, oh, look at that guy, well, meanwhile, you're like, and then back to the play.
in the Globetrotter environment, that energy would actually work. Like, the goal is to have, the target audience is kids,
right?
The goodwill ambassadors. So people for Natalie, but you come out to the games and you check it out and you want to see how it's a little bit different than the normal basketball experience.
Right.
So,
okay.
You do see a lot of the different plays and different things, and all of a sudden there might be a bucket of water that shows up and we don't know what's going on.
Right.
So I kept it moving. I was the narrator and then making sure I brought the energy. So I hit a lot of high notes with my voice and
amazing.
All right, make some noise and all that kind of stuff. So it was really my job to keep the audience moving along and letting them know what was happening, and then the players do their thing. I'm best just as an accompaniment to actually what's taking place. And and they have female players too. So they've done a really nice job of being able to show a lot of diversity with the Globetrotters.
Absolutely.
How they've done. It took me all over the world. You can't really.
You were a Harlem Globetrotter.
Yeah, I got I got to go everywhere. To be able.
You're a Santa Monica Globetrotter, if you will.
Oh gosh. To be able to go to all four, I've been to 49 states. I haven't been to Alaska. That's the last state. But to be able to see, Qatar and Japan and Europe and Australia, New Zealand. Yeah, to get paid to do that and travel the world was a really fun experience. And then I was thinking about it on the way over here because you get moments where you get to be involved in these things where you don't realize how big it is. But I was at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
John Bon Jovi was sitting in the front row.
Wow.
And they brought him out. And so there was a moment where I was supposed to announce, ladies and gentlemen, here he is, John Bon Jovi at the Garden. You know what I mean? Like, and I started thinking about it. I'm like, what is that? Like, how does that even happen? And in that game, the showman, not Meadowlark, but Special K at that time.
Okay, yeah.
He stole my line. He brings John Bon Jovi up and he's like,
no, this is my moment.
I took the moment right back. I don't care what he said.
Good.
Even if it was an echo and nobody was listening, I did it, and it worked out. And then you get moments with like a Josiah Vieira, who was the baseball kid, and that was in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Actually, is where the game was, and he was known for playing baseball, and he had the condition and just unfortunately passed away. But that was a big moment for me to be able to be immersed in a moment that was also it makes the human spirit kind of realize too. So you get the fun moments, and then you get the moments that actually mean a lot to a lot of people. So
and I think it's interesting that you kind of went from the Harlem Globetrotters, which the NBA, and just having studied it for so many years and observed it for so many years and observing, any sort of sport organizational dynamics, it's not exactly the prettiest business, right? But then you look at something like the Globetrotters, and I don't know the dynamics there, but it's like a family fun thing, right? And there's not the animosity that there is in sports, in like the NFL or the NBA and stuff like that. So you go from a happy environment like that, and then you go to horse racing with these lovely, these lovely creatures that you're working with. And So how was the transition for you? I mean, it seems like you were a natural at it, but can you talk me through how you went from baseball to then studying the horses and figuring out how to call exactly what you were seeing? So, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but maybe just like an example.
Sure. Yeah.
Or I guess
that does put me on the spot.
No, I know.
No, I
love the element of surprise here on the Xpertz.
You're the host. The experience of, so I started as a fan. Like, I've heard tons of voices, legendary voices, Tom Durkin, Trevor Denman, all these big voices in horse racing. So you know the cadence of what it's supposed to sound like. You know, if you listen to a broadcaster here in the Philadelphia area, you know what the game is supposed to sound like. Whether or not you can replicate that or make it sound like that, then you can do it. So for me, the process is, I'm going to be in the booth. I get a program. I'll take a look at the names, and then I go through the names and I start repeating them to myself. I start memorizing who it is. Then I start coloring my program. I put the silks. So usually, like, if I see a red cap or something like that, that stands out, it needs to be something that I can recognize on the track.
Okay.
Then when they get in the gate, I say all in line, all set. That, for me, all in line means that the horses are lined up. All set means that the horses are ready to go.
Okay, this is great. This is great information.
Yeah.
For the listener.
Sure. Yeah.
For the listeners. It's just terms. So if you want to just break down the terms.
So all in line, all set means like we're ready to go. Like, these horses are now gonna go.
Okay, cool.
Sometimes horses, they get in the starting gate. They get a little squirrely. They're a little fractious and they're kind of acting up. So when they're all set, and they're off, and then that'll be the moment. And then at that point, I'll start recognizing who's going to the lead. I think it's important right away to say who's in front. So, here comes the 4-horse. The 4-horse is taking the lead, and now the 4-horse is backed up by the 2-horse. The 2-horse is going to sit 2 lengths back in second. When I say 2 lengths, I'm talking about horse lengths.
Okay.
So that's how far back that horse is.
See, I can hear it in your voice.
It's that. And then as I go through the field, say mid-pack, the 3 horses mid-pack, the 8 horses up on the far outside.
Okay.
Maybe he's making a wide rally. So they approach a half mile left to go. There'll be a red and white pole that you'll see at the track.
Okay.
If they're on the backside, that means that they've got a half mile left to go, or 4 furlongs.
Okay.
So eight furlongs is a mile.
Okay. So this is good. 8 furlongs is a mile. I want to make a graphic for this and make it like it's going to be like that.
There are graphics that do exist already.
Oh,
you don't even have to create that graphic.
Oh, well, wonderful then.
Perhaps we're a bit more progressive.
Perhaps I shall take some of those.
Right?
No, borrow some of those. Yeah. No, it'll be cool because it's amazing how, you're talking about learning the language and stuff like that. And I'm going to come over today. Sure. We're recording this on Tuesday, April 12th. And I'm going to walk over today to see the race this afternoon.
Right.
I was over there. Did you see when I raced the tractor?
I don't think I was there for that.
So it was online.
I love that we both looked at Mark.
Yeah. Because I know it's an obscure question. So the last time I was over at the racetrack, I was filming a What Are the Odds, and I forget what happened. It didn't go as planned, or was something. So I ended up racing a tractor along the side of the track.
How'd you do? You won.
I won. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the goal was perhaps for maybe me to like race a horse, but I was like, there's not a snowball's chance in hell.
Yeah, there might be some liability things with that as well.
Liability. I mean, on the outside, but I'm like, no, I just said that I couldn't even run the 100-meter sprint when I was 12 in track. I'm not going to race a horse.
Right.
So I'm going to come over today. I'm going to see the track. And I met Ed Coletti.
Sure.
He works at the, what do they call it?
A trainer on the backside.
The trainer on the backside.
Backside.
Blanked on it. Thank you. I didn't want to I was going to say stables.
Backside,
but I feel like that's
side.
not proper.
Yeah, you can say stables. Yeah,
okay, because I know that there's a proper term for it.
It's just when we talk like the front side would be where the fans are going to be entering, where the crowd is. That's the front side. Like the races take place on the front side. The back side is where, the training takes place. A lot of the jockeys are working out in the morning. The practice, so to speak, and getting everybody ready. So yeah, you have the back side and the front side. And
so how are the horses now? Now I know my favorite I met last year. Who did I meet? I met Wait For It.
Yeah, Wait For It was injured. He came back, and so
he was in Florida.
Yep, and now he's
back
doing? Into training. He's doing well. Yeah,
he's
doing well, and that's going to make the Uptown Charlie Brown people very happy to hear his name here on the podcast. But yeah, he's coming back well, and I think he's going to be a contender. We got a lot of Pennsylvania breds. It's important to remember that, you have Kentucky, which is everything, right? Everybody focuses on Kentucky and Kentucky breds and just the blue bloods. Pennsylvania continues to really rise. It's been a bit of a challenge as far as trying to get the breeding up to where, we can compete with some of the other levels. But I think we are getting there. And now you see some trainer bonuses and you see some PA sire, PA bred bonuses that are taking place this year. And, business has been good. So you're seeing a lot, the purse money is rising. You're seeing these opportunities for the breeders. So it continues the longevity of the sport. Bring in the breeding, bring in the good sires, bring in the good stallions, and it enhances the product and also the quality of the thoroughbred too. So we've had Pennsylvania breds be able to do things on a national level. Smarty Jones, probably the most famous of all time. Probably the most famous of all time.
So it was just his birthday.
Yeah.
And you posted about him. That's how I saw it. Do you know, I didn't know he was still with us.
Of course.
So I'm over the moon. I was over the moon to see.
He's still doing his thing. He's still a stud. He's still a stallion.
Yes.
Yeah.
What did I say? I said I would.
Good for him.
I would sing, but I'm a little hoarse.
Good.
I know a good horse. I have more horse puns. Just you wait. But wait. Speaking of, real quick, you were talking about how the fans come to the front side.
Yep.
Okay. So the front side. So I want to talk about the racing fans.
Sure.
Briefly, because again, when we had talked last year, I think, and I met with a couple of your coworkers over at the racetrack. I was asking, how did the pandemic influence horse racing? And I learned that there was an upswing, right? Because people were home and they could watch it on TV. So tell me a little bit about that. And then another thing I learned was that there's a challenge for horse racing right now, because quite frankly, the fan is, kind of dying off, right? So there's a push kind of, and there's a resurgence, I think, of horse racing because it's accessible, it's family friendly, and then you have somewhere like Parx Racetrack where, again, I came here as a little girl, and I just think Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the summer's coming up. It's something perfect that you can do with your kids. So tell me, how has the transition been from the pandemic, and what do you think the biggest appeal is for coming to the race and bringing it on a day? Look at this beautiful. I don't know which one is the 4/6/2022. So this is last week.
Oh, so now I got to remember that.
No, you don't have to remember. No.
I probably do if I watched it long enough. It's an interesting point that you bring up. So as far as the pandemic and everything was involved, and wagering in general, from a sports standpoint, from a racing standpoint, has just changed. The whole complexion in the past 2 years, 3 years,
exactly,
completely changed.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think during that time when people are home and there wasn't much out there to wager on, there wasn't much to
like ping pong
to watch. So a lot of people discovered horse racing.
Right.
It was a product that was continuing to go. And horse racing was seen as essential. So we saw the races. You continued to turn on the TV. Different networks started picking it up that wouldn't normally maybe show the racing at that time slot. And it offered a product to people that wanted to have something from an entertainment standpoint. And, whether it was their wagering dollars or just something to watch.
Right.
It was a live sport, not a recorded event or something.
Exactly.
Like that. So I think a lot of people discovered racing at that time.
Okay.
Because of that, it led to people maybe opening more accounts, maybe people wagering more. You saw a boost in handle.
Right.
What's really happened from discovering that to now is, as we've kind of come out of, not out of the pandemic, but kind of getting back.
Have been wading through it.
Yeah.
Meandering through it like the mule.
Meandering. Solid word. If I don't say meandering today in a race call, I'm going to be very disappointed in myself. But as you see now, everybody else kind of getting back involved, basketball, baseball, and whatnot, people are still stuck with horse racing. They still see it as a viable, something where they can make money, something where they can wager on and they can be entertained by it. So you've seen some of these fans stay, which has been a really great thing. You talk about the fans that we have on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's a different audience.
Right.
We changed that schedule. This was before I even got here, but the schedule was changed to accommodate just a better schedule where you're not running up against as many racetracks.
Okay.
You think about racing, whether it's in New York, whether it's in Kentucky, whether it's in California, they're going to focus on the weekends because they're going to get the weekend crowd to come.
Right.
They're going to get people to come out and enjoy the races on a Saturday and Sunday afternoon with their family. Of course, you want to have that experience. For us, what's worked very well at Parx Racing is the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday schedule. Monday, we dominate. Tuesday, we want to dominate as well. Wednesday, we get a few more tracks in. And so it's important for us to continue to put out 11 races like you're going to see on the day that we're recording this, with a good afternoon post time and good field sizes. You want plenty of wagering options for the betting public.
Right.
If you have 3 or 4 horses in each race, it's not as attractive of a betting product for the audience. So you saw people discover it through the pandemic. They've stuck with us. And now it's our part to continue to put out the right product.
Absolutely.
Make sure we take care of the horses.
Yeah.
And make sure that the racing is good. we understand that people want weekends back, so then we added 5 Saturdays to the program. So yeah,
wonderful.
So you kind of get the best of all worlds, right? As we get into the warmer weather, as we get into the summer month. I don't know if you've been out to the Picnic Grove.
Yes.
Have you gotten? Yeah, like the Picnic Grove is an amazing area right there.
I tell people this all the time.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, Nat, is it because you work for Parx? And I'm like, no, I'm just telling you that it's actually a really, really cool thing to do. And I've come to the Picnic Grove, and I've been here prior to me even working here, just growing up in this area. Yeah. It's just a spot where you can go and just, for me, I'm somebody like, I like to go and kick it on a summer day. And that is a perfect thing to do. Spread out a blanket, bring your own food.
Yeah. I mean,
it's lovely. And there's grills.
You're close to the races. There's grills out there. You got the
grills.
The green grass. The kids are going to go out there. They're going to hang out and play. Yeah, the Picnic Grove is the I can't indulge in any of the activities that are taking place in the Picnic Grove. That might be the only downside for me. But other than that, to be able to see it's not like I could pop down there between the races and go
have a mint julep.
Hang out for a half hour.
You're like, oh, there goes. Wait for it. Oh, wait for it. There he goes.
Could pose an issue. Could pose an issue from a professionalism standpoint. But yeah, the Picnic Grove area, as you see there. Look, when the fans are down there, there's nothing like it. I come from a Globetrotter background, or a live audience. So for me to see a big crowd and hear the rush of the roar, you feed off that energy, of course.
Amen, Chris. Yeah. From one broadcaster to another. Amen.
I mean, I've gone to a couple Sixers games.
Yeah.
Recently, and the energy is different. Now, there's some promotions where the missed free throws, I'm not going to name what the promotion is, but when they miss the free throws, the energy of the crowd and getting fired up and like everybody getting on their feet and just absolutely going.
You wanted a Frosty, didn't you?
That might have been the promotion
like,
that we were talking about.
I want a Frosty.
I was not the only one in the arena.
No, I know, but you felt it, didn't you?
Energy, the crowd, the fired up. It's a collective energy, and it just really. And that's one thing I love about Philadelphia that's different, or Pennsylvania that's different. Where I'm from the West Coast. We have a great energy about us. We may be known as more of a when the team is doing well, we're going to be fans of the team kind of thing. Maybe not as much when they're not doing so well. I love Cali, but the passion in this city and the passion of the sports fan in this city is it's pretty unmatched. I'm pretty impressed.
And you learned you didn't learn the hard way, but you learned you learned yesterday. Yeah. So if you give people your Twitter handle, because you're a great follow.
So my name's Chris Griffin. So
we haven't even addressed that. That was a part of it too.
That's a show in itself. So
but that's okay. We're going to touch on that.
I've actually met Seth at a watering hole in Burbank, California.
Well, I feel like
before anything.
Can you do any of the Family Guy voices?
No.
You can't?
No.
Because I feel like your cadence. Are you sure? Have you practiced?
Maybe, but no.
I hear Stewie. Mom, mommy, mom, no, mommy.
Are you trying to ruin my life?
No.
For the next 2 or 3 years? Name is not enough.
You never know. You never know what can happen. Chris Griffin, if you're listening and you're putting out a horse racing episode of Family Guy, I found your Chris Griffin for you.
I like
See?
it.
You never know.
I'm kind of on board with that.
So you put out a tweet yesterday.
Yeah. So @In the Grants is my handle because of the Chris Griffin thing. And I put out a tweet because I got to see Philadelphia for the first time, I've been busy. So I've been working.
Well, and also you moved here basically in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah. So I wasn't able to get out much. And just when you're working and so focused, like I'm a workaholic. I always want to work. I feel like downtime. I don't know what to do with myself. So a couple of the guys over in the TV crew, best TV crew ever over there, Parx Racing, they said we got to take you around Philly, and they want to show me around and kind of give me the tour of the city. And, so they did that. We were hanging out for a little bit. Oh, now we're showing the tweet. So as far as Pat's and Gino's, look, everybody, a lot of people are hitting me up. There's a lot of comments that keep going on the tweet, which is great, which I appreciate.
Is that mine on top? Okay, go on. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, when Natalie got involved, obviously the numbers continued to progress. So I appreciate your contribution to my Twitter.
I can't not.
My tweets.
I know that's a double negative, but I can't not chime in. Right. I always have to chime in.
On this, you have to.
I have to. It's my duty.
But the first thing that they hit me with was it's a tourist spot. I am a tourist, technically, in that I was touring Philadelphia. So I will give myself a little bit of credit for that. Now, I will say, as somebody that's not from here, I think the pride of knowing that outsiders know Pat's and Geno's right away, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody were to fly into Philadelphia and visit you,
yeah,
would they ask, like if they said, "Hey, where's the most famous cheesesteak to go get?" I feel like this would be up there. I feel like they would be in a top category. I could be wrong.
So no, you're absolutely correct.
Right.
And as a native,
yep.
And I'm going to tell you what the beef is. Again, pun not intended.
There it is. There it is.
Look, I can't stop. I'm on a roll. Oh my God, I hate myself. No, I'm kidding. No. So as a native, Steve's, I'm a Northeast Philly girl. Yep. So Steve's is indigenous to Northeast Philadelphia.
Sure.
The original's on Bustleton and St. Vincent in the Northeast. It's actually close to here. Okay. And there's one on Conley Road, which is also close to here. Okay. So now you know. And you can go and get Steve's, and then we'll talk about it on the next episode. Join me.
Done.
However, so I think the problem, it's not a problem with Pat's and Geno's, because if I'm down there, I'll eat one.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm there, there's a bar called Garage across the street.
Sure.
South Philly Tap House. There's like a ton of stuff around there.
Yeah.
So if I'm down there, I'll definitely grab one. I guess whatever line is shorter for me, because I have another cheesesteak preference.
Yep.
So I'll just grab whatever one. But I guess the natives are like, well, it's not a real cheesesteak, and it's sold out because it's not made with the tender love and care.
Sure.
Tender again.
Sure.
The tender love and care that the other ones are.
Yeah.
If you will. I don't necessarily believe that. I think it's beautiful that somehow this 32 gram of fat, million calorie carbohydrate loaded cheesesteak has become synonymous with
not that we're counting.
No, and I think it's beautiful that people visit from all over the world to go to.
Yeah, but they've got the directions on how to order, but I kept hearing other people order it a different way. It's gonna wear on you after time. Look, it was a Sunday afternoon. They're probably slammed on the weekend and the whole thing.
What did you get? Yeah, what did you get? Duh.
I got a wit provolone.
Okay. Oh, good. Okay.
And then went over to Geno's and got that one. Was it Whiz Wit or Wit Whiz?
Whiz Wit. What did you think? Which one did you like better?
Well, I can't. Can I answer that? I can't answer that.
Yeah. You're a Philadelphian now. This is what makes
the bread at Pat's. The bread at Pat's.
Okay.
I enjoyed.
Okay.
I did like the Whiz Wit a bit more at Geno's. I did like that.
I'm a Whiz Wit girl.
The only thing I can't understand about cheesesteaks
is what Cheese Whiz is.
No, Cheese Whiz was fantastic, but I like Swiss cheese a lot.
I like Swiss too.
I have asked if I could do Swiss on a cheesesteak. Absolutely cannot. It's an absolute hard no.
What?
I'm telling you, I have learned that in being here. I made a shirt for the whole thing.
You did?
And everybody over at Parx Racing has talked to me. They said Swiss absolutely cannot be on a cheesesteak. So it's a tough one.
See, here's the thing, and real quick, because I know we're going on and we're running out of time. I need to talk to Chris. We're going to talk about, he's a Chiefs fan, so we're going to touch on that, and then we're going to talk about everything that's coming up at the racetrack, which I'm super excited about.
Sounds good.
But so I say people, I met, who was I with? I was talking to, some of our coworkers last week. We had this little bowling event to celebrate Bet Parx.
Yep.
And the one, Keith, who works in our department, lives in New York, and he's from New York. And I said, who are your teams? He's like, I'm a Yankees guy. And I was like, oh, okay. He's like, you don't hate me? And I said, well, no, you're from New York. Why? It's not. I would never want to go anywhere and have somebody tell me, well, you shouldn't be a Philadelphia fan, right? So I'm not going to go to another city and tell somebody that you shouldn't get a cheese, right? It's not like you're trying to make it an abomination with some sort of weird aioli or some condiment. You know what I mean? You're not trying to muck it up. I think adding a Swiss cheese is fine. And fun fact, I worked at many a pizza shop as a teenager. And I worked at Larry's Steaks, which is one of the more famous cheesesteaks place in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And people ordered mushroom and Swiss on a cheesesteak all the time.
Yeah.
Because mushroom and Swiss cheese goes together.
Yeah.
So that's my thoughts. And I implore, I'm gonna help you find a Swiss cheesesteak.
I think I can find it. I think I just have to eat it in secret. I think I have to kind of hide and eat it over in the.
I won't judge you. I won't judge you.
Appreciate
because you know what I want people to do? I want people to come and I want people to stay. I don't want you to leave because they told you that you're a tourist and you can't eat Pat's and Geno's.
No, I won't leave.
Okay, all right, good. I'm always a little worried.
We could tweet about it and see what people.
We'll see what people think. So as I mentioned, and then we'll wrap this up. I promise.
Yeah.
Chiefs fans. So we talked about it a little before. I said I got to know who your team is.
Right.
And so you're a Chiefs fan from Santa Monica. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so my dad's from Kansas City.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, so my dad being from Kansas City, he moved to California and got into horse racing, wanted to, be a horse racing handicapper and the whole thing. But I would always sit down and watch Chiefs games. I mean, that's just kind of how I grew up. And so for me, the key to being able to say you're a diehard this fan, that fan, you got to be able to kind of go back and name some of the players from the past. So, I started watching Steve DeBerg. I'm a Steve DeBerg, Christian Okoye.
Right.
And then I remember
Okoye.
I mean, come on.
Wow.
I remember
what
us,
a time.
I remember us, trying to find every backup 49ers quarterback that we possibly could to take us to the crown.
Right.
Starts with Joe Montana, and then he goes to Buffalo and gets a concussion. And then we're talking about, then Steve Bono is going to be the answer. Another backup, San Francisco. Then Elvis Gerbach's going to be the answer. Then Trent Green comes in after Kurt Warner blows up with the Rams. And then we bring in Alex Smith. And then obviously now we picked up number 15, who is a fairly decent quarterback.
He's all right.
He's decent. I think we'll keep him. But
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. And you have Big Red.
Yeah. But it's been, is he loved out here?
Andy?
Yeah.
Oh, he's beloved.
Okay.
Yeah. So what's interesting is about Philadelphia is, again, and you'll learn this in your time here because you're not going anywhere because you're going to eat the Swiss steak and you're going to be fine. So what's interesting about Philadelphia is I always say, and nobody believes me because people are like, it's horrible, whatever. We love so hard that sometimes it gets a little lost, right? It's like we're so emotional, so passionate about our teams that that you feel, and especially because the sports fans pay so much attention to their teams here in Philadelphia, you feel like somebody. And having been in sports talk radio, I've been at the supermarket and someone's been like, Nat, this, and I'm like, but I forget because the fans are so dedicated, right? So they felt like they knew Andy years and years with him, right? Yeah. Ups and downs. By the end of his tenure, it was time for him, I think, to kind of go because it was getting ugly. But he's absolutely, I think, beloved here. He brought, prior to Doug Peterson in that 2018 season, he brought Philadelphia fans probably the most joy in franchise history. So I think it just was a turn of events that kind of went downhill. And it just got messy and ugly. And I think he was trying to dig himself out of a lot of situations. Howie Roseman was involved, yada, yada, yada. I could go on for days, but I will not. But no. So now I always loved him here. I grew up with him as the head coach of the Eagles. Right. And now I'm glad I was pulling for him. I'm glad he won the Super Bowl when he finally got to Kansas City. But can you tell me, what are your thoughts on him?
Andy Reid?
Yeah.
He's the best, his Aloha shirts and the fact that he always wants to grab a burger. And, he has found the right quarterback that really makes him, it really maximizes his potential. Does he still call some timeouts and some clock management type things at the end of games that we kind of wonder, why did we do that? Why do we do that? Of course, but we're sports fans. You're going to criticize, you're going to do those things. Now, I think sometimes you can cross a line where it just goes over the top, and that's, that's a passion.
Absolutely.
Fan. That's somebody that wants their fan to win.
Absolutely.
As far as the passion in Philly, again, I can't compare experiencing what I've experienced here because, like you said, the Philly sports fan, they know their sport. The people in the region know their team. They know all the little, who was brought up, who was released.
Oh my God. They know blood types
and how it's going to help the team. And I think that lends to a great overall sports product and also a betting product because you're involved in getting involved in the action. And I like that. I commend that. I think it's fantastic. And it's something to respect. Now, do I want the Chiefs to, if they ever squared off against a certain team in the NFC in a big game in the Super Bowl, I may be cheering for the Chiefs in that scenario.
Look,
but
that's okay.
I root for the Sixers.
Yes,
I like
you do.
Sixers.
Yes, you're a Sixers fan.
Like
you're a Sixers fan.
I like the Sixers.
And that's actually pretty much what matters right now. Sixers, I think, are top of the top right now.
Embiid's a beast.
Embiid.
See what Harden
oh my God. I will. TBD, I guess. No, I'm not ready.
He's got it in him.
I could go on another tangent about this, but I have theories. For some reason, I don't know what's up with Harden. Doc. It's like a whole thing. But
horse racing.
Horse racing, yes. Back to the topic at hand. So yes, let's talk about what you have coming up.
Yeah.
And we need to bring the passion to the racetrack.
Sure, of course. And so Saturdays was the thing that I was talking about. May 7th is going to be our first Saturday program. We got a 12:05 first post time, so we're 12:55 on Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll go earlier on Saturday, May 7th. It's a Kentucky Derby day, so you can watch the Derby. Obviously, you can watch all the races. You can bet on all the races. Come on over to the racetrack East and check it out. And then we're going to have live racing, so you'll see, racing right on the track. families will be out there. The picnic grove's going to be out there. We got a DJ, we got the live music, we got everything going that day. And then we'll have more Saturday programs. So again, you can go to parxracing.com and check out that entire schedule. Just look for live racing calendar and you'll find that.
You look for actually.
Yes.
I'm just gonna. This is the last one, I promise.
No, it's good.
All right. It's under main events, and Why?
Several people laughing right now.
Everybody's, all the millions of people who listen to the Xpertz podcast
Boom,
are
there
laughing.
You go. And then our biggest day is going to be September 24th. So, hopefully I can jump on jump back on.
Oh, absolutely.
Before that. But yeah, September 24th, we got Derby and Cotillion Day, which we're going to do. It's our biggest day of racing really in Pennsylvania with two $1 million races.
Yeah.
A lot of the horses that you'll see run in the Kentucky Derby and the Kentucky Oaks, which is on Friday, you're going to see them run in the Derby and the Cotillion. So those are names that you might remember. Names that you'll see in September as they continue to progress. And there you see it. Yeah, Saturday, September 24th, and that's our big day. We've got some big $200,000 stakes races, 300,000. It's just a huge day. So you'll see a lot of people come out and join us. We always have a hat giveaway. So that's a free item right when you walk in the door. So even if you just don't have a great day at the track, at least you leave with a nice hat from Pennsylvania Derby.
They are great hats. I have the fluorescent orange one from 2021. Or is that 2020?
They're very bright for a reason.
I love it
for a reason. Yeah, we want to make sure we can recognize the entire crowd when we get all those hats out there. But yeah, it's a lot of exciting things. You can always check us out on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, of course, and adding those Saturdays. And it's a good time to be in Bensalem and watching the racing, and it's always exciting.
It's amazing. So, do you have any favorites?
As far as
I guess the Derby, the Kentucky Derby, or the big races coming up.
Yeah, I mean,
how you feeling?
It's tough. I kind of look at it now, especially I take a look at some of the horses that I think they could possibly run in September. I think that's kind of interesting for me to watch, to say Epicenter is going to be the favorite probably. He ran in Louisiana. There's a horse named Zandon. I could see him probably not pointing to the Derby later on in September, but Epicenter, if he has a big year, I could see him maybe making the lure here during that time. He'll probably be the favorite. I think the Oaks, which is going to be the day before on Friday, they got a lot of good fillies in there. Fillies being girl horses, Oaks being boy horses. So the 3-year-olds are just a restricted division on the Derby. So for me, watching those races, that kind of gives me a feel. If they perform well, it gives me something to think about for September. Sense kind of like scouting, really.
So you're kind of looking,
kind of like a scouting report, like, okay, this horse ran well in this race, and then obviously they go on to the Preakness, they go on to the Belmont, and you can see these stories kind of blossom and see what they become and see what they turn into. So it's, from that standpoint, it's fun to watch. As far as the racing here, yeah, I mean, you take a look at the top jockeys. Ruben Silvera is a name that jumps off the page. If you see him, he's going to ride some favorites that are horses that get bet heavily, but also he's going to win a lot of races. So Frankie Pennington's been here forever. He's a big name over there. And then some of the trainers, Scott Lake has had a big year. Jimmy Nessa's top the standings, and just a lot of different connections that'll really jump off the page and kind of, it's just something that you start to recognize. You say, okay, these are top performers and they do well. So if I'm wagering, if I'm looking at this race, I'm probably going to go in that direction.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, there's a lot of good stuff coming up. Make sure you check out parxracing.com.
Parxracing.com.
Yeah, I'm going to go over there. Me and Mark. Hopefully I can steal Mark away from whatever else he's been tasked with today to come with me. Yes. Producer Mark Feldman, everyone. Thank you, Mark. Great job as always. Thank you for today.
And I do have to tell you, Nat, the racing people really appreciate the promotion as well. Like for you bringing me on and talking about the product and that you are engaged in the horse racing. I know they express it to me, and I don't know if they get a chance to. I'm here face to face, so I get a chance to express it.
Oh, thank you.
I know that the connections, a lot of people over there appreciate it. So
it's
good.
Of course,
it means a lot.
Well, honestly, I know I'm very much who I am at all times, but it's a special thing for me because I have such special memories there. So it's a little bit of a nostalgia, situation. When I drive up and I see it, I automatically think of, I'm talking like weekends, days, like my dad, we would drive up here. He'd be like, oh, there's nothing to do. What do I do with my daughter? He was by himself with a 3-year-old girl. He's like, where do I take her? I went to baseball games. I went to hockey games. I went to see, the horses race at the track. So it's special to me. It really is. And I think it's a great thing for this area. I think it's a family friendly event. I think I don't think it gets enough attention as it deserves up here, because I'm not a smorgasbord, but I just feel like it's such a perfect thing to do, and I passionately believe that. So I'm not just saying that. I genuinely do care about the wellness of Parx Racing and all the horses and all the guys over there, and I think it's such a special thing that we have here right outside of Philadelphia. So thank you, Chris. Any parting words today? Thank you. You've been amazing.
No, just check us out, man. Just follow us wherever you are on social media, and
yes, Chris is in the grandstand
in the grandstand,
and then Parx Racing, Instagram, Twitter.
So Parx Racing. The Instagram is Parx_Racing.
But that's right. Okay,
just type in Parx Racing. You guys can check it out and follow us and come on out and join us on Saturdays. I mean, if you can't join us on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, join us on Saturdays. We got our first Saturday program coming up on May 7th, and we got 5 added Saturdays, and then September 24th is our big day, of course. So looking forward to that. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been fun to hang out for a little bit in the morning. Now I got to go do my actual work.
I know. I'm sorry. I hope I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, oh my God, he has to go call races now. And I'm like, either you're going to start up here or you're going to be, hopefully you're not.
I'm always
good,
up there.
But I'm hoping that this amped you up for the day.
You gave me meandering, so I'm
good. Now, I'm going to live and die by every time you say that, right?
Right.
Okay.
No pressure. It wasn't enough pressure with the cheesesteaks. Now I got to worry about the meandering too.
Oh, thank you so much, Chris. This was awesome. I really appreciate it. Again, parxracing.com. He's at In the Grandstand on Twitter. Make sure that you follow him. Download the BetParx app, the Parx Racing app. Yep. Google, Android, App Store, all that other good stuff. Yep. And I'll be back on the Xpertz in 2 weeks. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.